Hello and good afternoon. I'm gonna record my journey today because it's been a long time since I've done this one, and I suppose I could have done it in any weather, but today's the day that we've decided to meet up, my friends and I. I'm going to Bradford. It's an ex-industrial city, smaller than Sheffield, slightly older than Sheffield in some ways. It's been a city longer anyway, and it's 50 miles north, and I'm going to be travelling on the motorway, or what the Americans call the highway. And I thought I would document my journey as I went, so hopefully I'm not going to have too much bouncing about of my camera, because I've attached my phone and I've got a little support on it to stop it from leaning a bit, because it is quite a heavy phone for what it is and what it does. I may need to move it over a touch, just a little bit there, there we go. I'm trying to keep what's that? Oh, there's a reflection at the bottom there, unfortunately. It just is what it is. I'm trying to keep the thing quite straight. We'll see if that works or not. I borrowed a little tub from my daughter, baby J, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've got bumps there and it's not wobbled about, so that's not bad. So I'm going the usual route to this is if you've seen one of my previous videos, this is actually the route I took to go to collect my girl, baby J, as it happens, from school. And remember, we had a lot of snow. That was one of my previous videos, and that in the distance, right in the distance, that hill was covered in fog and snow, because it was snowing a little bit at the time still. That's the one that started with me scraping the car, you may or may not remember. By all means, take a look. I'm sure you'll find it in my I think it's the one that says shutting the school down, or they shut the school down, so I had to go collect my girl. Okay, well, this is we're basically going to go past the Northern General Hospital once we get to the bottom. It's not the biggest in the UK, but it's not bad. It's a big hospital. It holds, they tend to count hospital sizes by beds, or number of beds that it has, and I understand that the Northern General, which is a big hospital, has 11,000 beds, so they can have 11,000, basically 11,000 patients overnight at any one time. That's where they go. I think the one in Leeds is bigger. St James's in Leeds is well known to be very big. I think that has about 16,000, but there's a limitation for space for ours now, because it can't grow any bigger than it did. And it's mostly Victorian, and you can tell that because if you can just see the sign there on the left hand side, that sign there is in between two pillars, and if you look at the fence work, it's Victorian fence work, so that's kind of how you know that it's quite an old and well established and well made. I do like that church actually. You get a little bit closer to that. I may have to move this a little bit. There you go. It's going to sag. It's going to sag. Oh dear. It's not working well, but never mind. Let's see. I'm playing with the adjustment. You'll have to bear with me. I'm going to have to do it that way, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys. That's probably the best way to do it. There you go. That's the road proper. Right. Hopefully it will stay that way, but it may not as the car gets warmer and the mount that I got it on gets different. That's the church I was telling you about that's turned into a mosque. The Diocese of Sheffield, the Anglican Church, sold it to the mosque because they wanted to keep it a house of God, and so they sold it to the Muslim community with that in mind. Okay, so yes, I'm on my way. This is the way to the motorway as well as the way to my girl's school. A bit tight here, just bear with us. See, cars parked on both sides of the road when they shouldn't be. It just makes it difficult for cars to go past. This is a difficult spot, look at this. Never mind. But they're not not on the double yellow, so I suppose they'll get away with that. It's okay to some extent. The road's not in a great state of repair, but hey, doable. It's okay. Okay, this is an area called Page Hall. It was actually well documented in a documentary by, I don't know if it was the BBC or ITV. They were on because there was tension between some of the different communities that live there. As there was a big new community of Slovakians coming in. There was an established community of South Asian Pakistanis, and there was an outward moving English community, so it was quite tense for a while. It seems to have calmed down a great deal now, so that's good. Speed camera there, just going through. You can see them on the floor, the markings. They're just to track your speed when you go through. If you go over 30 miles an hour, which is the limit, they'll catch you and photograph you and get you. Okay. So this is Upwell Street. I've been on here before with my camera, but I can't remember what we talked about. Anyway, we'll keep going. I sometimes do some of these recordings and I don't actually put them up. They just end up being sort of recordings for myself. But you know, I'll try and do this one because it'd be possibly, you might find it of some interest as I get onto the motorway. It's I'm going north on the M1, and the M1 is basically means motorway 1, and it is the main motorway transportation. Just taking a right turn while I'm talking, sorry. It's the main motorway transportation link between London and Leeds. I think it's about 210 or 220 miles long. It kind of starts at junction 1 in London, sort of quite centrally, but actually what happens is most people get down to junction 4 in London, and I think it goes up to about junction 40 or 41. I live off junction 34, which is sort of commonly and locally known as the Meadow Hall junction, because a very big retail mall in Sheffield, Meadow Hall, and it dominates that valley. So I'll be going from junction 34 to junction 39, 5 junctions up, but I'll be passing a few cities, well not a few cities but a few towns, as they are towns rather than cities. I'll be passing a few towns on my way up. Hopefully the weather will hold. It rained earlier. Slow down and stop. It rained earlier today, which is why the roads are so wet. Hopefully it will stay and it will be okay. But if not, we may have some rainy weather. Because I think actually I'm now following the rain. The rain was going north, and I'm on my way up there. You may or may not be able to see that little sign by the traffic light there. Blue top. That was when the Tour de France came to Yorkshire. It's called Côte de Winkelbank Hill. 132 metres, altitude 94 metres, summit 0.8 kilometres. It's a 22% gradient, an average gradient of 11%, but the steepest maximum gradient is 33. So it's a well-known hill. We have to go up there one day. I'll have to go up with you and show you. It's a very steep hill, as you know. 1 in 3 is steep. In some places it's hardcore. It's almost like a mini mountain in terms of how you go up it. But we'll do that one of these days, if I remember. By all means, feel free to make a comment, fire something over and say, hey, you forgot this. There's an elephant there. Can you see that in midair? We did a charity drive in Sheffield some years ago, and they had these elephants, and they had them on display, and there were places where you could drop money for charity, and then when they sold them, all the proceeds went to charity as well. I think there are something like 58 elephants, and they gave you like a treasure hunt where you went around all the places in the city and you marked them off to say that you were on the elephant trail. It's almost like big game hunting, but you were hunting to identify them because they were all different. Different companies had them and had designs done for themselves, so every elephant is unique. And then they did another one another year. They did mini elephants, which are baby elephants. That was quite nice. So I'm turning left here because this is the through route that's going to take me through onto the motorway. I don't know if you can see the cranes in the in the foreground there. But that's always a good sign that you're coming up to 34 or just leaving junction 34 on the motorway. It's the only one that's got a crane company like that, so close. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's 1:45 in the afternoon, and I'm going there because I haven't seen my friends in a few years, so we're having a meet up to catch each other up. So possibly have a bit of dinner, or we might go for a walk somewhere, depending on how the weather holds. Or we might go to a movie, I don't know. So in the distance there, you should be able to see what looks like a bridge right in the far distance. That bridge is the viaduct, and it's running the traffic over. It's 2 lanes. It's a viaduct. There's a motorway lane underneath it as well, and the viaduct was for steel town, because there was a big steel place, British Steel actually, and Forge Masters and John Brown's. They were all there. Big industrial places. They're of course gone, and Meadowhall bought it, and one day somebody turned around and says we're commissioning for a mall. Everybody laughed, but actually it's a mall that takes 25 million visitors a year. It's very, very busy, and it's quite exclusive. Yeah, it's a great place to go. Okay, so this is the roundabout that's going to lead me off. This first junction I'm taking off is going to lead me onto the M1. This is a slip road. A lot of people like to use this one. As you can see, there are cars going up. A lot of people like to use this one because this turns into the first lane of the motorway. You don't have to indicate off. You don't need to indicate to get onto this road here. As you can see, I don't need to indicate or change lanes. I can go straight on M1, M1N, M1 North. And also, I don't need to indicate to get off this lane, this slip road as they call it, and get onto the motorway, because it turns into the first lane. So it's a very easy one. And once you first learn to drive and you need motorway experience, this is a very good junction to come off. Here we go. So I'm not sure if I've done this before, but this is basically a British motorway. It's a quiet day today. We're not anything like in peak time. It's a quiet day because it's a bank holiday, as I say. This is the nearest Monday to the coronation of who is now King Charles. We now have King Charles III, and there hasn't been a King Charles since the late 1600s. You may know the history, or may know some history. King Charles I was beheaded by the Republicans, Oliver Cromwell, and the UK, England and the United Kingdom became a republic for 12 years until Cromwell died, and then Charles II was invited to become the king again, and he did. He came back and became king, and now we have a third Charles. So it's been a good 350 odd years since we've had a Charles on the throne. Obviously Elizabeth died early this year, was it last year? Late last year, and he's now been crowned king. So this is the nearest Monday, because this happened on Saturday. Charles was crowned on Saturday morning. It's generally a Saturday that they do it, and it's generally at 11 o'clock in the morning for whatever reasons. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's kind of how they do it. There's around a 7 to 8 month mourning period, which is why I think she died last year, actually, bless her. And we had a national day of mourning for her. So this is the nearest one, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday. And now we're here on Monday. It's a declared bank holiday because it's the closest day to that day of his coronation. Just getting into the second lane and just letting traffic go through. I'm doing a steady 68 to 70. 70 is the maximum speed limit on this motorway. So if I'm up at 70, this chap who's coming past me now is obviously doing 75 to 80 miles an hour. I'm not really bothered about that. I'm quite happy to carry on. So that first junction there is junction 35. It takes you to the top part of Sheffield, which is Stocksbridge. It's about sort of, once you get there, it's about 15 miles north of the city centre. And it will lead you to the Manchester. There's a next one here. The next one is actually called the Manchester Turnoff, and that one will lead you directly from here over the hills to Manchester without having to go straight north and then having to go east. You can just kind of cut through in the middle. It's a shorter journey, but it's not motorway like this. It's not a highway, it's country roads. It's very scenic actually. I suppose you're seeing that actually what you've got on our motorways, there's a lot of trees on either side. We have very scenic green sort of motorway lanes and motorway areas. As you can see, that says Manchester on the sign. So this one is 35, I think it's called junction 35A, which is the A616. So you've got M, which designates motorways, and then the next busiest roads, which are dual carriageways and busy roads, are A roads. And then after that, you've got busy roads like main streets in cities. They're called B roads. So you'll have a B6106, for example. But this is the A616 that will take us to Manchester if we were going that way. And as I said, I'm doing a steady 70. As you can see on the left side, the road has changed, the markings have changed. And I'm heading towards Leeds, but these guys on the left-hand side of me are going to be turning off and going to Manchester. Or possibly towards the top end of Sheffield or Barnsley, because you can get to Barnsley, the lower side of Barnsley. So the next junction is junction 36, and that will be Barnsley. Barnsley is the next town north of Sheffield. It has quite a rich history in its own right, and there are places that I'm going to go. Here's one. You can see that sign that says Elsa Car Heritage Centre. It's got a train heritage centre there. I'm going to go there and do some filming one of these days when it's warmer and when it's a little clearer, because you can go out and take the train ride. I'd quite like to record that for you guys. Let you have a look at what a steam train ride looks like, because it is a heritage centre, so it is all about the steam trains. Yeah, I was in Barnsley some time ago. I think it was the end of January. I had a hot day, or a comparatively bright and warm day, and I filmed a place called Monk Breton Priory, and I'm going to give that to my friend Solo Dev. He's going to do some tweaking with it because he just wants to give it a try. He's just interested. And then we went to the coal mine. If you remember seeing the coal mine on one of my videos, that was in Barnsley, and Barnsley was famous for coal. UK coal seemed to be of a very comparatively high quality. It used to burn hotter, so therefore you needed less. Certainly for industrial purposes, UK coal was really good. Unfortunately, in the 80s, the industry was decimated because we had a conservative government in that was very orientated towards leaving old industries to survive for themselves, and if they didn't, the phrase was they could go to the wall, and that's exactly what happened. You may have noticed I put my wipers on because I'm starting to get some spots of rain, and it may be that I'm going to get that for some time now, but we'll see how we go. It's just as you get onto the higher patches you do get rain, and as you get lower again it tends to go, so it's just every once in a while I may need to put my wipers on, because as you can tell it's quite the cloudy day. So yeah, Barnsley, it has a big history of mining, and you know, that was the principal industry of that city, or that town. It's not a city, it's a town. It doesn't have a cathedral. That town was a mining town, and tough people working in very tough circumstances, because working in mines was dangerous stuff, very dangerous. Working in steel is dangerous, but working in the mines was more dangerous. There was a very, very low life expectancy, and people died at a very young age, and those that didn't usually succumb to life-altering diseases and ended up being what today would be called disabled. There's high incidences of lung cancer and emphysema because of the particles of dust and coal dust in the atmosphere that would get into the lungs. There was no idea of health and safety at that time, so the miners struggled. They really did. It was a very difficult. You had to be a brave man to go into the mines, because you knew you were shortening the span of your life, even though it paid comparatively well. So yeah, junction 37 will take us into the bottom end of Barnsley, which is Birdwell. and then 36 will take us straight down into the city centre, or the town centre. I keep saying city, but town centre. That's not where I'm going, of course. I'm going to be going much further along. Just going to get past these cars. Steady 70 as I'm going along here. Just a mail truck here going past. So there's a route to get back onto the Manchester turnoff from 37 as well. It will just lead you back down and through onto Manchester. That's a train bridge. You can see the metal bridges are usually those that were designed in the Victorian era. Wentworth Castle, that's another place I'm going to go. It's not a true castle, it's a keep, but it's a really nice place to visit. And Wentworth House has one of the biggest facades in Europe. By facade I mean the front face. The front face of that house is wider than any other in Europe. So there's, it's wider than Buckingham Palace, significantly. It's wider than anywhere in Germany, like the castles in Germany or France or Italy. No place has a wider facing than that. It's a stately home, but it's a big stately home. And I think there are days where you can go inside, because I've seen the ballroom, and even though the marble floor is cracked, you can still get in to see the place, and it gives you a real sense of perspective in terms of how big it is. But it also gives you a sense of perspective how rich the landowners were at that time. So the other side looks quite busy at this motorway. South facing, it seems to be quite steady away. I've got half a tank of fuel, and it tells me I've got a range of 368 miles at the moment. But I'm not going that far, I'm only doing 50, so I should be okay. The car at the side of me is a BMW, and he's just doing just under 70, and I'm just doing bang on. So I'm slowly taking him over. So it says Wakefield is 10 miles, Huddersfield is 15, Leeds is 19. At Leeds, I'll be turning east to go towards Bradford. Bradford will then be another 9 or 10 miles east. That will be the M62, which is an extremely busy motorway. In some ways it's busier than the M1. It also has the highest point of any motorway in the UK as you go towards Manchester. But it runs from coast to coast, east to west. So you have Hull on the east coast, and on the west coast you have Liverpool, two big cities, and then in between you have Leeds. It travels through to very close to Doncaster before it hits Leeds. Leeds, Bradford, and then of course, as I've said, Manchester, but you can get off at Oldham and you can get off at Chester. So there's 6 or 7 cities in that journey across, and all of them use it to commute to, so it is particularly busy as well. So steady away, I'm on a downward bit. It's not raining as much, so I don't need to use the I'm intermittently using the wipers. There we go, somebody's ferrying some older cars, some old Hondas and Hyundais. There's a Hyundai Getz and a Honda there, they're 54 plates. It's BCA Motive. I think that's it's going to an auction house. I think that's Brighouse. Brighouse has a really big car auction place, and I think they're destined to go there to be sold. So they're being bought somewhere, ready to be sold there. Maybe the auction house themselves have bought it, or people have just paid extra for it to be transported. So on the right hand side you can see that little bump. Apologies for that. I've got quite a wide angle of view so you can see the entire motorway, but it just gets the base of my holder for my phone, which is the thing I use to do my filming. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, it's junction 42 I think I want, not junction 39, I do apologise. National Coal Mining Museum, that's another place I want to go. Yeah, I think it's junction 42. Or junction 41, 42, something like that. I think it's 42 actually, because 39 is very close by now. These guys have slowed down. I'm just going to have to indicate out and get out. I don't usually leave it that tight and that close, but there's a car coming behind me, and these guys were slowing down. I don't know why on the first lane. not good to get in front of somebody then slow down all of a sudden. It's just quite dangerous actually. Let's have a look. Oh, you can see on the other side that truck, big tipper. Okay, steady away at 70 miles an hour. This is quite good. We're getting a little bit of a sign here saying surface water. That's a sign for the services. Those are the service stations you could go in either to refuel or get a cup of coffee, or even, you know, get a shower, because some of the places have a shower facility, bathroom and shower facility, bathroom break and shower facilities. So I'm going to get back in the first lane again. I don't actually need to use the facilities. I've only been on the road for about 25 minutes altogether. So Wakefield is a big city as well. It's quite a well-to-do place. It's known as a middle-class city. Might be a town again, but it's known as a middle-class place. There are some very nice properties around there. I think those people who want to get away from the industrial lands or the industrial areas of Leeds and Bradford moved out to places like Wakefield and turned it into a nice place to live. So there's quite a lot of nice architecture around there. Actually, Bradford is well known for having good architecture as well. The buildings there are really nice Yorkshire sandstone buildings. It's a lovely place. It really is a lovely city. And it's a lovely place on a hot day, and a warm day, and a bright day. It's just a lovely place to see. So again, I'm doing this national speed limit of 70 miles an hour, and these guys are peeling away in front of me quite quickly. So I suspect the guy on the in the red car is doing about 85, and the guy in the black is probably doing 95 to 100. The guy in the Polo is having to slow down because he's caught them up, so he's probably doing over 100. You need to be doing, in order to overtake gently on a motorway, you need to be doing 15 miles faster than the person you're overtaking to do that safely and comfortably. That's kind of how you need to do it. So if these guys are speeding ahead of me and overtaking each other, let alone me, they're obviously doing quite a bit of speed. That's a Tesla there, the white one. Those babies can do some speed as well. They've got fantastic acceleration. There's another one that's going up at speed again. As I say, it's good that it's not too busy a day. Generally, it can get to be really busy. Once you start getting closer to cities, it starts getting congested. Well, they're all slowing down. I can see some red lights starting now, so maybe there's a bigger volume of traffic coming onto the motorway. So here we go, Leeds motorway, M-way as it said there, M62. So this is junction 39 to Wakefield, so this is not the junction I wanted. I'm wanting the junction to Leeds. So I'm doing 70 and I seem to be catching this chap up. I'm going to get into the next lane. Just check my blind spot, overtake. If I do that at a steady 70, he's probably doing sort of just less than 60. This is why I can overtake him with the speed that it looks like I'm doing. And I'm starting to gain a little bit on this chap here, the black car. There we go, a couple of cars are coming out. He may have to change, I might change if he does. No, he was okay, he's comfortable, that's good. Good, good. Just got to keep aware of what's going on behind me and in front of me. So that chap's gone into the first lane because no doubt he'll be getting off on the M62 as well. Surface water slow down. This is what happens when it gets rained. We have intelligent motorway signs, which are quite helpful actually. You should be able to see what looks like, well, it's actually water that's being thrown up by the traffic. It looks like dust, but it's not. It's actually water vapour. As the tyres are going over, they're just throwing it out. You can probably see it better on this particular car because it's going to wet my windscreen as well. Let me just clear that. So this has turned from a 3-lane motorway with a hard shoulder for safety into a 4-lane. So during peak times there is no hard shoulder. The junction 4 M40 is Dewsbury. Dewsbury is a small town that was well known for wool. It has a significantly high South Asian population, because the Indians and the Pakistanis that arrived in the UK in the 60s were housed in these places to work in those wool mills, those so-called dark satanic mills. They were housed there around the area, and they stayed. And once the wool mills were gone, the community stayed. So there's quite a sizable proportion of South Asians in Dewsbury. There's a big mosque there as well. It's got a 5,000 person capacity, so it's very big. It's been there for a long time, and the inner city population is very heavy of South Asians, mostly of Pakistani origin. So that's junction 40 going off there, and we're still ploughing ahead, so to speak. You just see them parked on the bridge, waiting for the lights. They're starting to go now. I'm probably doing about 67, so just shy of the 70 miles an hour that I should be doing. This is quite a busy junction here. You can see cars are starting to peel off and join the motorway, but I'm in the middle lane so that anybody who wants to come off can do so comfortably, like this chap here. This chap in the BMW has turned up, so I'll probably overtake him just now. We're starting to get out of South Yorkshire and into West Yorkshire, and West Yorkshire is where Bradford and Leeds are. Over to the left you might be able to see there's a little bit of a lump, a dark lump. You may or may not be able to work it out, I'm not sure, but that is solar panel farm. Bradford, the sign said it's 18 miles away from where we are now, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to get off the motorway in 9 miles time, the M1, because it almost finishes in Leeds, and then we will go from there on the M62 at junction 42. There you have it, at junction 42 towards Manchester, and that will take us to Bradford. And on the M62 we'll be getting off at junction 26. So going northbound I'm getting off at junction 42, and going westbound I'm getting off at junction 26. Very big roundabout actually. So there's a sign here showing the M62 and the A650. I'm just going to get in the first lane now because this is where I need to be. A650 is just a major road. It's an A road. This is the road I told you was very similar to a motorway, but not a motorway. So it's got a maximum speed limit. It's known as a dual carriageway, and it has a maximum speed limit of around 50. 60 in some places, which is the national speed limit on a non-motorway road, and then 50 in other places. But that could take me from here to Bradford too. I'm quite happy to use the motorway because that's what I'm familiar with. Doing a steady 65. Just going to boost that back up to the 70. Got the van in front of me here. So now we've just got this one here. It says Hull, Manchester and Bradford. We still have to get off at the M62. It's a big roundabout that encompasses the motorway. These two bridges are part of a roundabout that go all the way around for both parts of the junction. They're coming onto the motorway going south and going off going north. That's kind of how they're designed, and we've got another big one coming up. So here we have to start having a bit of lane discipline. As you can see, the lanes are marked. I need to get into the leftmost lane, which I'm indicating into to get to Manchester, Bradford, or the airport, Manchester Airport as it is. So I'm in the first lane. This is the lane I'm now going to stay in. My lane is fine. If you look on the right hand side you can see that much closer stripes. It sections off these two lanes to the other three. The other three will go straight north, and these two will lead me either east or west once I get off on this junction. So the signage tells you that this one that I'm in takes me west, and the one that the white car is in, that's in the next lane across from me, will take him east, and the others will go north on the M1. So here I go. It says flood there. You can just see the big puddle at the side. I'm just going past it now. That may have been flooded. And as you can see, this is showing the M62 west, which is what I want to be on. And then the other guy is going to go east. They have traffic lights, but I don't. There's a maximum speed limit of 40, and I'm going round at a steady 50. There you go, 50 I'm allowed, and I'm doing a steady 50 just to be safe. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, look at this. There is a massive queue. There's a massive queue here. This must be 9 miles long. So, there's a caution sign on the other side here. I can see smoke. You can just about make out just above the bridge there's smoke. So something may have caught fire, but I don't know if it's affected the motorway or not, because this is unusual. I know that they've got narrow lanes because they've got roadworks, but you'll be able to see on this side, on the left hand side, you should just be able to make out the amount of cars that are coming on to the motorway. Those cars will be coming here, and the amount of cars that are on already, it's busy. It's very busy. I thought this would be a 10-minute journey from this part, but obviously not, because it's hectic. See, in hindsight, I should have taken the A650. There's 2 lanes that are out. They're actually working on, if you can see, there's actually 2 lanes. They're working on the middle of the motorway. There's some repair work or something going on. Here we go, look, first interesting bridge. That's a covered bridge, which means it's a walkway only. That's for pedestrians to walk across the motorway to get to one side to the other. Right, I'm going to change lanes. Which I have. Get myself going. It may be because of the junction, because I'm starting to get quicker. You can just see the fence on this side, on the right hand side, but you can see some works vehicles. So there's stuff that's being repaired here. And I'm not sure what's going on. There's a big hole there that's being repaired, and there's more stuff that's being repaired here as well. It may be because of the bridge. So I'm doing 40 now. It was a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, so I can do a steady 50. All of this was fixed some time ago. They seem to be removing the stone barriers that were in the middle. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, there's a lot of side traffic. There's a lot of stuff in there that's being done. Maybe they're removing them. Maybe they're removing the stone that was in the middle. They need to put something up that will help and sort and make sure it's okay, because that is it's not workable as it is. You can't just leave it flat, because all you need is someone to fall asleep and to accidentally move out and end up hitting oncoming traffic. So it'd be interesting to see what they do in that. This goes on some distance, as you can see. It's literally chopped the motorway in half. There's 3 lanes here though, but they've narrowed the lanes down. As you can see, if you see this sign above us, it's showing Manchester Bradford, and there where the works is the M62 lane, and that's being chopped off. But it seems to have blocked something off as well, and I'm not sure what's gone on, because one of the signs has been blocked off. Yeah, we're just coming up to the junction 28 sign. It says junction 26 in 8 minutes, but the sign there that says Leeds and Dewsbury, that seems to have been blocked off. So maybe they're not using it for that any longer. So as I said, it's a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to move because I've got a guy behind me who looks like he wants to take me over. I'll do that just for the sake of safety. I'm going to do my steady speed. Oh, guy's broken down there. So okay, that seems to be alright. The A653, that's okay. People are able to get off. So I'm doing 50 miles an hour, that guy's doing 60. He may or may not get caught by a speed trap. But this is interesting. There's the yellow. Oh, they've narrowed the lane. They've put some roadworks up, and they've narrowed the lane. Because the lanes are narrower, they've put these yellow, they call them cat's eyes, but these are not, road markings. This is the old, the car on my left is actually running in the old hard shoulder, which is where you'd go if you had a breakdown. But yeah, they've got loads of roadworks. It's bizarre. That gives you this next bridge gives you a good idea of the width of the motorway, because they're for signals, traffic signals only, really. I'm just going to get him out of the way of this guy, because there are people joining the motorway, and therefore all the cars have slowed down. So that's it, they've seemed to have changed it. It's saying rejoin main carriageway, so any minute now the motorway is going to widen out back to what it was before. There we go, widen off. As you can see, it's taking us through into the normal motorway lanes, and now it also says end for works, and that sign that shows the white circle with the black stripe going across it means that we can go back to normal speeds. You're going to see it on this sign overhead. That's our sign to say national speed limit, but also there's an X, which means you can't use the hard shoulder any longer. It's only there for, it's not there for travelling, it's there for breakdowns. I'm now doing a steady 60 miles an hour. I'm not doing the whole thing because that's kind of the speed the traffic is going. It's always slower than the speed limit on this stretch of motorway. And today, as I say, is not a busy day. We were very lucky actually. I've got through that quite quickly. I thoroughly expected to be on here for longer. So we're coming up to the sign. You can see the little black box at the bottom where it says 27 1M. That means junction 27 is 1 mile away, and after that it's the one that I need. So I need to get into the first lane after junction 27, and the first lane is the lane where that white truck is, the left-hand lane, and that's where I'll be getting off to get into Bradford. So junction 26 is 5 minutes away. So at 70 miles an hour, 5 minutes, it's a couple of miles. So what we've got is we've got the A62 to Batley, Manchester Bradford. Actually, we're going to have another delay. The M6, this junction 27 is a stretch of motorway called the M621. Oh, slow down. Look at that truck going out. Crazy guy. Didn't need to do that. Some of the roads cut off, and he must have assumed that that's what that does. The lane cuts off, but it doesn't. So yeah, we're coming up to the M621, and that is a busy stretch of road. It's one of the junctions, the main junctions for Leeds and Bradford. And Leeds is a big population. I think it has over 1 million population, and Bradford's got sort of 250,000 there or thereabouts. So between them, it's 1.5 million people. You'll see the motorways widening out, and there's a stretch there that's taking us off. So that's the A62 to Batley and the A62 to Leeds. So it's a very busy A road. And then you've got the other side, it will be the same on the other side. Now I can speed up a little bit now because the speed limit is 70, and everybody else was doing 60. This is the stretch of road where it gets quite bad for rain as well, but it seems to be okay today. So you can see the volume of traffic, or you will in a minute, coming off that junction to join this motorway. It's so much that for a while it's a 5-lane motorway, like the American highways. So they're all signalling now, these 3 lanes are all signalling to just get off and get onto this motorway. And I need to be in the first lane, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to move across into this first lane here. And here we go, I'm just keeping an eye on. I'm still in the first lane. This lane is about to disappear, and you can see the hatch lines again. So that last line is about to disappear. I'm now doing a steady 50 again because of the volume of traffic. Literally, we just got double the amount of traffic all of a sudden, and as a result of that, we're all doing a steady 50. So Bradford is now 8 miles away. Not long to go. Bradford is my hometown. It's where I was born and raised. And it's definitely one of the main traditional Yorkshire cities, and yeah, still have a lot of love for the town, but I'm very glad to be living in Sheffield as well. I think it's a good place for opportunity, it's a good place for education, it's a good place for my children. Bradford's a lovely place, but yes, if I had the choice I wouldn't go back. But I don't regret having my childhood there, if that makes sense. Where are we? 45 minutes I've been talking. I hope I haven't bored you guys. So the overheads, can you see those? Those are the pylons that carry the electricity up and down the country for the national grid. and you get what you call step-up transformers that allow them to be millions of volts, and then step down that turns it down to, it transfers them and turns it into the household 240 volts. And these things crisscross the entire country. You'll always see them crisscrossing the motorways, and sometimes if you're lucky you'll see them hanging, these baskets that are hanging from them, while engineers fix cables. But it turns out that the baskets that hang from them are made of glass, because glass doesn't conduct electricity, so you can handle cable and not be earthed, so therefore not be damaged. You can only be electrocuted if you're earthed. If you're not earthed, it could run through you, it won't damage you at all. So here we are, this is junction 26 we're coming up to, that last sign that showed. It's a mile away, and as you can see, lots of people are in line and in lane. There's lots of cars going past us in the other two lanes, but there are more in the lane that I'm in. As the motorway turns now, you should be able to see them in the distance. I'm trying to keep my distance from this car because I'm doing a steady 40 now. I'm at 40 miles an hour here. Bradford's always rainy. Bradford is always rainy. What can you do? Look at that. Bradford towards Manchester is higher ground, and it always rains on the higher ground, and therefore rainy days. So far so good. Just slowing down, steady away. So this is, you can see that on the left side I have a solid bar for the road. As soon as that turns hatched I can get into it, which is now. So this has now become the part of the motorway where I can come off, and it's become a dedicated lane to get off to the M606. So junction 26 on the M62 will take you on to the motorway number M606. It's a very short motorway, only 3.5 miles long, or there or thereabouts. But that's the one that gets you from this motorway into Bradford. And now that we've got onto this and cars have started to get off, you might be able to see that the motorway is clearer than it was, until you get to the next city where people will come off and people will come on again, and then you'll get a busy junction yet again. So I'm a bit shielded, so it's not raining as heavy on my windscreen as it was. A couple of things here: National Media Museum, Bradford Theatres, Bronte Country. I want to go there. I don't know if any of you are familiar with literature. The Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, the Bronte novels. They were done by Charlotte, Anne and Emily Bronte. I read Wuthering Heights, I love that. I think it's an amazing book. Very ahead of its time in terms of how it was written. My daughter, Junior, she read Jane Eyre. She quite likes that one. Ooh, red light. Oof. Had to get to that red light there. Stopped in time, don't worry, I didn't go over. So you can see the sign ahead of me. It says Lowmore, Bradford M606, M606 and M621. The light's gone green again, so I can go across. I'm going to go straight. This is going to take me towards the M606 or Leeds, and this is the lane that I want to be in. It will put me into the second lane of the M606 as we go around. You can see the sign above me now. So they're quite well marked, I suppose, but that motorways and highways usually are. That's just a standard thing. Obviously, because of the volume of traffic, national and international travellers, I need to pick up my speed because I've got to join the dual carriageway or the motorway at the right speed, which is obviously 70 miles an hour. So I'm doing 70 miles an hour, just hit. This guy is booting ahead of me at some speed, so he's probably doing something in the region of 90. And I'm not in a rush. And I can join that first lane where he is. Bradford is 4 miles away. So this is a 4-mile motorway, very small. There's obviously been some roadworks because in the middle you can see that it just says end. Some trading estates. You're away, well-known trading estates. They're obviously linked very well to the motorway. And literally in a few minutes I'm going to be in the edges and the periphery of Bradford City. We're now in the district area that is Bradford. Look at the speed of that. I'm still doing 70. This guy must be doing 100 more. Or 100 or more. There's another one coming up behind me that's probably doing 100 as well. That's significantly faster than me. That's 100, 110 miles an hour he's doing. 40 miles over the limit. Crazy town. Crazy town, crazy drivers. So yeah, it says Ring Road West. That's where I'm going. A6177. I'll be going west. Quite happy to get off there and go. So you can see the road markings are different again. The road markings on my right to my extreme right. That guy didn't even indicate, he just jumped in. Always the way. Okay, you've got the really short lines to say that a road's finishing. Here I go. So I need to be in this second lane because of where I'm going. There's a C on that sign. We've got a clean air zone in Bradford as well. Everybody said that all the cities have decided to do it in good conscience, but actually central government told them they had to do it. And actually I think it's just a way of making money and raising revenue. It's nothing to do with being clean. They don't care about being clean, they just care about how much money they can make out of us. Slow right down. This is a 30 zone. So it's what time is it? It's just coming up to 2:30. This is a fairly busy old road. Let me just get into this lane here because I need to be going here. I'll be heading right, going down towards the city centre. There we go, he's going there as well. This is the city of Bradford, my old hometown. Let's have a look. See, it doesn't look any different, doesn't look any better, but you know, I've still got love for the place. 142, 153, 153 for diesel. That's expensive. That's expensive. I'm paying a lot less than that in Sheffield. Wow. Okay, here we go. So here's an interesting statistic I was once told. Bradford has the highest proportion, as a proportion of the population, as a percentage of the population, Bradford has the highest number of millionaires of any city. And then look, you've got a homeless person here sat, a homeless woman sat here with nothing. That's just crazy town, isn't it? Got millionaires and homeless people all in one breath. You can't make this up. So I'm going to stay in this lane. I'm not technically in the right lane, but not to worry. Generally I usually go across, but actually I prefer to go down here because I'm going to see a friend, as I said, and he lives down this way. So that's that. I'm going to get into the first lane here. There we go. Steady 30 because it's a 30 spot. Don't need to be doing any more than that. You can see all the shops there. Bit of a shopping parade. That guy's out in the road a little bit. He should be parked there. That guy, how's he parked? Look at that. Crazy man. Parked on the pavement. Arse out on the road. That's nuts. Okay. Still going down. There's some nice mills here, nice buildings. I think that's something I was thinking of filming. You can just about see the spire in the distance now. Just above where that coach is. It's a church called All Saints Church. It's absolutely huge. You might just be able to make out the chimney on the other side of where that coach is. Right in the distance, that's Lister Mill. It used to be a big mill, but it's now a place where people live. This is what I said about Bradford being yellow. All of the houses are all sandstone yellow houses. I don't know if you can tell. There are no red brick houses. There's lots of red brick houses in Sheffield. You'll see lots of them. I live in a red brick house in Sheffield, but I lived in a stone house in Bradford. There's more there. Look on the left-hand side. Quite a nice looking bridge here. Footbridge. I used to run up and down this as a child in the 70s. By that time, there wasn't anything like as much traffic. God save the king, that's what it said on that then. So I'm going to turn off here in about 50 yards and head through into, because I want to miss out the city centre, just go around it a little bit. So I'm indicating now to get off. This is an A road, by the way. It's a busy A road. Take me into the town centre. And this is a B road. All of these roads are B roads. They're just basic roads now. And this takes you to the back of, that's the back of the hospital. This hospital is a smaller one. It's called St Luke's. That's quite a modern building, but in a minute, as you see on the right hand side, you're going to see some of the older building. Here we go. You can just about make it out. I don't think you saw that. You may have done. Park Lane Centre, Trident Enterprise. This used to be a little school, St Joseph's. Some open space. These are council houses, old council houses that were built. I think they're now privately owned. You see how big the wall is. This is the wall that goes round the hospital. Otterburn Close. I used to play there. Wow, there's new houses there. Well, not new, they've been there for years. Well, there's houses here. I haven't seen these as well. I've been out of the city for a lot of years. There you go, that's one of them. That's not All Saints. It's another one. It's a much smaller building with a huge spire. I may go around that. It's actually in the halls of residence. Here we go. This is a yellow lane. This is what I think of when I think of Bradford. Look at both sides. Bright, beautiful sandstone yellow buildings. All of them are. This is the heritage of a wool industrial town. Huge houses they are, massive. Okay, I'm taking this left towards the Trinity Centre, Trinity Road. Here we go. Big houses here. Look at the houses on the left-hand side. I had a friend who lived in one of these. Huge, huge houses they are. This used to be a university. Used to be an offset to the university at one of the campuses, but they tore it down after a while and they've turned it into a school. So you've got it's an academy. It was a nursing residence, but now all of this on the left-hand side is school. All been refurbed, remade, rebuilt. And Dixon's is a private academy. This road is a private road. It's one way. You can see by the car parking spaces and the way it looks. You've got disabled on one side and you've got the other. On one side you've got the school, Dixon's Macmillan Academy, and then on the other side you've got college accommodation building. And you can see all the yellow houses again. It's quite a strong Muslim community here. Oh, it's for sale. The business is for sale. I was going to say there's a well-known pub here. It seems to have gone. That's the pub there. It seems to have gone. It's no longer a pub, which makes sense, really, I suppose. There's no call for it because there's no need for it. Why would it be here? Right, I'm pulling in. This is my destination. The chap I'm coming to see lives here. I'll park it there, that's fine. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I didn't bore you too much on the motorway, but it's nice to have a look and see how a major road works, as opposed to the minor roads that we generally see all of the time. I hope it wasn't too bouncy. We've done an hour's worth of filming. Wow. So yeah, this is Bradford. Such as it is, I'm going to take this off and show you this road. There we go. And you can see all the yellow houses. These houses are big, 7 to 8 bedroom. Okay guys, I'm going to call it a day there. And take this off if I can. Yeah, there we go. And please like, subscribe, tell your friends. And as usual, I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.